Start of audio description. Ranger Darien stands on a prairie that overlooks a river behind him.
Hello there, Ranger Darien here from Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site, and today I'm actually in a part of the park that not a lot of people get to.
A map of the park appears beside Darien, highlighting the areas he describes.
If you're at the North Forest Trailhead and you keep on hiking until you get to a plateau above the Missouri River, then you're in the perfect habitat to find the plant that I'm going to show you how to start seeds for today, and that's the Indian breadroot, or also known as the prairie turnip.
The map is replaced by a photo of a prairie turnip, a small plant with several stems emerging from the ground.
And typically that plant likes to grow in a shortgrass prairie environment, much like you're going to find up here on the North Prairie of Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site.
The prairie overlooks the river as the bird swoops overhead. Text reads, Prairie Turnips at Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site. A United States map highlights counties in the Midwest.
This is a member of the legume or pea family. Like I said, it's found across the northern Great Plains and prefers drier upland areas.
A river flows below trees near the riverbank.
It resembles a short, hairy lupin.
A flowering prairie turnip.
However, about 4 inches down into the soil, you'll find a tuber, like a small potato.
Prairie turnips are braided together with numerous tubers.
This has been a traditional food source to many of the Plains tribes for countless generations, including the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara.
A painting of a furnished earth lodge interior and a painting of earth lodges above a riverbank.
It was also eaten during the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Earth lodge indentations are beside a river. Text reads, May 8, 1805, William Clark. Quote, In walking on shore with the interpreter and his wife, Sacagawea, the squaw gathered on the sides of the hills wild licorice and the white apple, prairie turnip, as called by the engagé, hired Frenchmen, and gave me to eat. The Indians of the Missouri make great use of the white apple dressed in different ways. End quote. A river flows by.
Sacagawea would gather them as they made their way up the Missouri River in 1805.
The braided prairie turnips lay beside a seed packet. A flowering prairie turnip grows in the grass.
They can be eaten raw or boiled, but often they are gathered in quantity, peeled and braided together.
Hands hold up a prairie turnip seed packet.
In this dried form, it can then be pounded into a flour, hence the name breadroot.
A table holds braided prairie turnips, sandpaper, the seed packet, a little plastic bag, pill bottle, Sharpie, label sticker, awl, and peat pots. A ruler measures 2 seeds half an inch each.
You can grow them at home in your own gardens, but the seeds will require some preparation for optimum germination. The first step is scarification, which will help the new seedling break through the hard outer seed coat.
One seed is rubbed against sandpaper. One side of the seed coat has been sanded down.
Using a fine grit sandpaper, you will rub the edge of the seed on it. Just be careful not to break through all the way.
The seeds are piled together. An awl pokes holes into a pill bottle cap. Seeds are dropped into the bottle.
Then you will stratify the seed. This stimulates the dormancy period of winter. I like to reuse pill bottles for this, but be sure to poke holes in the lid for some ventilation. Fill the container with a little damp sand and drop them in. Write your ID label with the start date as well as the dormancy period. In this case, 60 days, which is double the time for most other native prairie plants.
The pill bottle is placed inside a refrigerator. Text reads, refrigerate for 60 days. Seeds are dropped into the peat pots.
Then they can be planted in seedling trays at a depth of about 1/4 of an inch. They should sprout in about 10 to 12 days. Carefully transplant them to a full sun location in your garden after a couple months.
Photographs are of prairie turnip sprouts growing and of a prairie turnip in full bloom. Darien stands in the center of a furnished earth lodge.
Now one more tip. If you're cultivating these to harvest later on, you're going to have to wait about 2 or 3 seasons before you dig them up.
Braided prairie turnips dangle beside Darien.
It takes time for the tubers to develop into a good size. But thanks for watching and happy planting.
Text reads, Prairie Turnips at Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site. Credits roll. End of audio description.